I'm going to make it my personal. I'm going to make it a personal thing to try and have a midnight pre-release at the next event, at the next set. Why not, right?
Yeah, I would be totally down for coming to that.
Well, the only reason we don't have one is literally because JB can't be here for like 48 hours straight. Alright guys, we are here in our round 2 feature match from the Theros Prerelease at Lost Legion Games here in South Charleston, West Virginia. Already into the action. Both of these players are 1-0. On the right, you've got Joseph Deal, a regular to our F&M stream. Came up runner-up in last night's F&M. And he is playing a black-green deck. And then Michael Taylor, doesn't play as much F&M, but always here during F&M playing Commander, getting in some sweet trades. He is playing a Rakdos deck. Michael is on the Malta 5, however, so he's going to be up against it to a certain extent. See if he's going to be able to draw out of this situation. And now's the time where I try to figure out what that card Joseph played is. That is a Baleful Eidolon. It's a 1/1 enchantment creature. It's a 1/1 death touch, but you can bestow it for 5. So just getting in some early beats. Michael's going to go ahead and try and fix his draw. If you're going to Malta 5, best to do it on the draw and cast a turn 3. Read the Bones, aka Scryin' Blood. That's a great card. That one's going right into my cube. That's a pretty amazing card selection mechanic.
In black, no less.
Yeah. I mean, Sign in Blood and Night's Whisper are great, but this one just gives you a little bit more deck velocity. The card selection is pretty tremendous. Especially in a color like black, which is usually more of a mid-rangey or late-game color base in standard as well as cube. You can afford to cast a 3-drop deck manipulation spell, whereas some of your more aggressive decks or counterspell decks can't really afford to do that. On the old welcome to the pre-release, I'm going to have to read that card. And I'm going to have to read it too. Is it not the promo? Is that not Ember
Swallower?
Yes. Looks like it, but I could be wrong. So hard to look up all these cards, to know all of them. Whew. Missed it. So Joseph moves his lands over into the glare spots, which I appreciate because I told him that is where the glare is. Hey, I got all these. So we're going to use the old whip, right? That's the -4/-4.
-4 instant. Yep.
I think that's what that is. Then follow up with that's a gold card.
It is.
Kragma Warcaller. It's a 5-drop 2/3. It's a Minotaur Lord. All the Minotaurs have haste, and whenever Minotaur attacks, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn.
A double battle cry on one creature. Wow.
And it has haste, so he's attacking in with a 4/3. Use the removal spell on the Death Touch guy, just to avoid trading one of your better creatures for the 2-drop 1/1. Still have not figured out what that other red card is, and I apologize for that, but is it Wild Celebrants? No, it can't be Wild Celebrants. Yes, it is Wild Celebrants. Does it look like Wild Celebrants to you?
Yes.
Which is a 5/3. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it's just a 5. It's a Juggernaut, is what it is. And Joseph loads up with another creature on his side, which I think is a Minotaur, like a vanilla Minotaur, but I will try to confirm that. It is a 2/4. When it enters the battlefield, target player puts the top 4 card of his or her library into his graveyard. And he's targeting himself, isn't he?
I believe so, yes.
He's going to double block the 5/3. He's going to trade 1 for 1 there. And he's going to get in, take some more damage. And then we're going to use the Magma, or the Lightning Strike, or whatever the new Searing Spear is. Like we needed another functional reprint of the exact same card. to finish off. So Michael has gone from a mull to 5 into clearing Joseph's board. And Joseph digs up this bad boy, which is a green card. Haven't seen any green cards so far tonight. This is the first day. Of course, it's been one match, for goodness sakes. We talk about it like it's been... That is a Ferris Band Centaur. It's a 3/7 vanilla creature. A pretty good wall. And there is the promo, isn't it?
Yes, that is most assuredly the promo.
The Ember Swallower, which can get pretty big and blow up some of Joseph's lands. And of course, Michael in a position here where he's more than willing, I imagine, to...
go monstrous.
Yes, to go monstrous. We're going to put the +1/+0 cycling enchantment on. I do not know what that card was. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to mill. 5. What was that green card? Looks like a Lead the Stampede type effect. Again, guys, I apologize if this is your first time watching. I promise you this is not the quality of our broadcast most weeks, but
I believe it's
Commune with the Gods. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature or enchantment card from them into your hand, and then you mill the rest of them.
For 2, that's pretty darn tootin' fine.
Well, it's another mulch or a grizzly. It's a grizzly salvage type effect. Enchantments, the enchantment clause being super relevant with all the creatures that are enchantments as well, so you can get the better part of it. Did not make out exactly what he took there, but we'll find out when he plays it. So he's got the giant 7-ass creature on his side of the board, holding off attacks. Well, it's a 4/7 at this point because of the enchantment, holding back the effectively 4/3 Minotaur.
I wonder if Joe has the whip of Ouroboros that lets you unearth a creature the way he's milling himself out like that.
Yeah, there are a couple other cards that that would allow him to get to value off of those mill effects too. So it's definitely a reasonable expectation. Michael plays Fanatic of Magus. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to each opponent equal to your devotion to red, which at the time I think was 1, 2, 3, 4. And that was enough to put Joseph away. So we move into game 2 here, with Michael Taylor mulling to 5, but still finding a way to get the job done with a series of aggressive red creatures. It seems like red is pretty well positioned in this metagame. We talked about it a little bit briefly when we first started a broadcast, and obviously I have no kind of expertise. I've never once claimed to be an expert at this game of Magic, though I enjoyed it a lot. But if you look at the spoiler and you look at some of the chatter on Twitter and whatnot about if you're trying to spike the pre-release, you know, if you're trying to do the best and win, as opposed to just coming and playing whatever's fun and things like that. Competitively, there was a very strong support for the white path. If you want to choose the white, booster with the white promo that's playable, I think that enchantment creature is probably the best promo. I really do think it's the best promo.
Oh, yeah.
And the white cards just seem to be universally good. There's a fair number of removal spells in white. It's very aggressive. It's a very slow format we talked about, so you do have the opportunity to kind of pound in some damage early with the 2/1 protection from multicolored dude. There's a couple of other heroic guys. You paired that with Boros, and there's a very aggressive deck there. So it's interesting that we've seen so far a Dimir deck, an Izzet deck, a Rakdos deck, and a Golgari deck now. So we've seen a lot of black, we've seen a lot of red, and the red cards have done a lot of the heavy lifting. Even in the Izzet deck lost in round 1 as Scotty dropped his match 2-0 to the Dimir deck of Chris Booth. Still, Scotty's red cards are still pretty impactful. You know, those were clearly the best cards in his deck. So it's interesting to see. I'm not sure how that will translate to standard. I don't think a lot of the cards that are good in this limited format are necessarily standard playable. So it'll be interesting to see what actually does port over. But still pretty interesting. I must say I'm digging this set. I think it's pretty cool. I didn't know how much I would like it since there is a... I mentioned this on Twitter a few weeks ago. It seems like every card in Theros has like... It says target player gets tired of reading so much rules text, because there is a lot of words on these Magic cards, and there's a lot of abilities. The average bestow card has like just a block.
Yeah,
every card looks like Animate Dead. It's just a paragraph. You know, you have to be a literature major to play this set. So it became a little bit tedious and whatnot. But watching it play out It's actually working out pretty cool. It's the game does go longer, so you can kind of prioritize. Whereas like in Return to Ravnica block,
Oh God.
in the draft format and sealed format, even at every point, even when it was Return to Ravnica and then Gate Crash and then all three, very aggressive decks.
Oh,
Either
yeah.
the Orzhov deck or the Boros deck, the Blood Rush deck was still pretty good. There was no real control cards.
Oh,
You know what I
no,
mean?
no.
You did not really want to be on the back foot. You wanted to be extorting and pounding in with Battalion and whatnot. This format looks to be very slow. There is a very aggressive red deck. Jeremy Bales, another one of our limited specialists, he opened a pool that had 2 Hammer of Perforos in it.
Ooh.
So that's a very good spot to be in. Haste is obviously super relevant in all formats, not the least of which is sealed. So he won pretty handily 2-0 in his first match. I think we're going to see, he's playing Garrett, another one of our stream regulars currently. So one of those guys is going to move up to 2-0, being a pretty good spot. Remember, guys, we have 6 rounds of Swiss today. We're going to be covering them all, so make sure you click the subscribe button and follow us for the long term. Sit in, get you a cold beverage, nice snack. Watch some Theros pre-release action here at Lost Legion.
White is definitely, like you were saying, one of probably the best promo. And also, well, just browsing over some of the spoilers, it looked like white was a really strong color to go with, just in general, with like phalanx.
It's very balanced. It has a lot of. It has early game. It has late game. It has value. It has removal. It's just, and white always is in that spot.
Yeah.
But I think in this set particularly, it seems to be pretty well placed. So we'll see. Of course, I could just be talking out of my backside. I mean, it's not like I proclaim to have the inside scoop on that, but it is pretty interesting. Well, Joseph's going to go ahead and pile shuffle again here. As anyone who's watched in the past will know, one of my pet peeves is people complaining about the poor draws and their mulligans when I sit here and watch them week after week and not shuffle adequately.
Verily. You have video proof of it.
I do. We have a couple a couple people who always have mana problems on camera, and it's because of egregious shuffling. So that is an aspect of the game you can control. And I encourage everyone to do so. So Joseph's going to be on the play here, mulling down to 6, but he is keeping on 6, and we're off to the races. So just land go here. We didn't see the high end out of Joseph's deck last time, so I don't know what he's going, what his deck is capable of in the late game. But we know Michael has a pretty significant 5-drop community. We also see him cast Read the Bones and scry both cards away. So let's see, there you see one of the powers of scrying in that spot. Filtering out 2 cards that you either don't want in this situation, can't cast, looking for lands that you might need. And Michael does have to discard, stuck on, looks like three black sources and no red mana, discarding an Anger of the Gods, which is one of the best sweeper power classism effects we've seen in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people used to talk about in the Innistrad Return to Ravnica standard, the lack of a pyroclasm.
Yeah,
we haven't had one for a long time.
The only one that I remember was Rolling Templar.
And it wasn't anywhere close.
Oh, no, not even.
It didn't kill flyers, which are half the cards you want to kill.
The only thing I remember it was good for was killing Geist, and that's about it.
So Michael does find a red source and adds a Fellhide Minotaur, just a 2/3 vanilla creature, to the board. And Joseph lands Whip of Erebos. You mentioned the chance that he might have it with his aggressive milling in Game 1, and in fact, that is in his deck here.
It's a 4-cost. It gives all your creatures lifelink, and a 4-cost unearth whatever you want.
Yep. And of course, it goes away at the end of turn, but I think you're fine with that. Of course, Joseph has to get some stuff in his graveyard. And meanwhile, Michael finds his 5/3 Manic Vandal creature, which gets some...
What's up, fellas?
Hey, bud. get some pretty intense value there by taking out the whip. So you put the 5/3 in just because you want the aggressive creature. You accidentally net the best card in your opponent's deck. Of course, he could have chose the Opaline Unicorn, a 1/2/3 that adds any color mana to your mana pool, but that would be the worst thing you could possibly do. So
another colorless ramp card. I'm eager to play with these Commander.
And then Joseph adds Nemesis of Mortals. It's a 6-drop that costs less for the number of creatures in your graveyard. It's an uncommon, so this also takes into consideration the Golgari kind of mill strategy, and it can go monstrous as well for 9 mana. So well, actually we're not well. We're only 2 land drops away from that being a 10/10.
Yeah.
There are a lot of giant creatures in this.
Yeah.
But I guess that's thematically what they're... It's called monstrous for a reason, I imagine. It's not like they...
I got killed by the Nemesis of Mortals.
We're now joined by Cliff Markham.
It was a 10/10 for 5 mana. It was good. It was good.
So you're telling me 10/10s for 5 are pretty good?
Yeah, they seem to be a plus.
Is that a Cliff Markham pro tip?
Yes, it is. It is.
Pro play.
You might remember, long time viewers of the stream might remember Cliff for at least 2 things. Number 1, Cliff's been the generous donor of some of the cards that we gave away over the last couple of months. I think I'm down to just 1 Veraska left to give away. But Cliff also the creator of one of my favorite memes from the stream, which is Dr. Nicholas Bolus, MD.
Yes. Not on purpose, mind you.
No.
Just because I'm an idiot.
No. To be fair, to be fair, you accidentally called it Nicholas Bolus once, then corrected yourself, but that was enough for me to latch onto it and never stop talking about it.
That's good.
Meanwhile, back to the game. I haven't updated the life totals because I'm not very good at what I do. But Michael's still in a pretty good spot here. Taking out that whip is going to be pretty huge. Not that Joseph's draw was doing much with that whip anyway, but we do have him...
Does anyone make Devo references to the whip yet?
Whip it good. I haven't.
Oh, no, you're the first.
Oh, well, congratulations for me. Whip.
And Joseph has another Nemesis. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and he's 1 mana away from making one of them monstrous.
And those have lifelink.
Oh, they don't now because the whip is dead.
Oh, okay.
He whipped it very good. And then Michael playing the Fleet Feather Sandals. I guess a nod to what's the Greek god? Is it Mercury? Hermes.
No, Icarus was the one.
What's the one that had
the
fast one? Hermes.
He was the messenger of the gods. Yeah.
Sure.
Giving the creature flying and haste, and so he puts that on his Ember Swallower, and then gets in for 4.
Oh.
What was that?
Don't know, but it was good.
It was a removal spell. Think it might have been the whip, flail of the whip or whatever. So did Joseph draw a land? He did not. He drew another.
He drew Golgari.
Yeah.
Collaboration with the gods.
I need to just get like a tent and put it over the future match area. It's the Grizzly Salvage effective card.
Commune with the gods.
Commune with the gods.
Yes, very good. Very good.
Revealing 2 lands. Some other business here. I don't know what they are. They are some of them are magic cards. I could tell that right away.
One would be a swamp.
One's a thanks.
Yeah.
We've got Gray Merchant of Asphodel, which is a 2/4 when it comes into play. Drain equal to your devotion to black. Is that the one he picked? No, he picked something else.
I think it's getting ready to be cast. There's a lot of tapping going on.
Cast something for 8. Don't know what he cast. Oh, it was for 6, I guess. Magic is so hard.
Is it...
Hythonia the Cruel?
No, it's fine. I don't know.
Well, it's an unknown card. Joseph cast it.
It might be that...
Seemed pretty content of it. Loathsome Cannibal Gasp. Yeah, maybe. It's a 3/3. When it dies, target creature and opponent controls gets -3/-3, and you can make somebody block it for 2 and a green.
I don't know. I can't tell. It's definitely It's definitely Golgari.
Well, like I said, I apologize again, guys. We do have some glare today because we have had to move the feature match table to another part of the store, which I have not mastered yet. Each and every time they move the store, after we did the remodel, I came in here 5 weeks in a row, and every time there was a different configuration of tables, and I got very salty because, like, it's you got to master the glare each and every time. So Michael going to chump out there, going to drop to 8. Still has the Ember Swallower with the haste flying equipment on. What's the trigger for what's the trigger for Ember Swallower's Monstrous?
Oh, just each player sacrifices.
No, what's
3.
the how much you have to pay it? I should have said.
I believe
7.
Yeah, that's 7.
7 mana. So Michael in a little bit of a situation here, staring down at least one 5/5 that could be, if Joseph draws a land, a 10/10 next turn. A card we're not sure what it is, but we think it's the 3/3 must block guy. And the mana horse, whatever that thing is. So thanks to JC Foxpox in the chat for hooking us up with the cost on the Ember Swallower. I think they're all about 7 or 8.
They're a lot. They're pretty much worth it.
But Anger of the Gods clearing out the board here. So Joseph, 1 card in hand, 1 5/5 on board. Despite being well ahead at multiple points in this game,
We have trickery. Oh, is that it? Is it over?
I think he went monstrous with the Hydra.
I believe he did.
I thought it was more. I thought it was, did he have enough mana to do that?
I believe he did. Because he did play a land. He had no cards in hand, so he did play a land that turn.
So is that just the irrelevant Game 2 handshake? Or was it one of those situations where I can't win, I'm going to do this thing, and then concede anyway?
I don't know. I'm confused. Looks like they're sideboarding. For Joseph, anyway.
I just want to. I think he just went monstrous and attacked with him, and Michael was just making him play it out in case Joseph, for some reason, decided not to attack. I guess he could have a trick or something in that spot too. Nemesis Immortals is 9.
Well, it also depends on how many creatures he has in his graveyard.
Oh, you're right. I completely forgot about that clause.
Yeah,
it does cost 1 less to cast and 1 less to activate Monstrous on for each creature card in your graveyard. At that point, Joseph had about 1 billion creatures in his graveyard and plenty of mana. He was only 1 mana short of doing it the hard way, so he's obviously pretty.
That's actually really cool. I didn't know the monsters.
It's horrible. That is the 10/10 for 5 that killed me in game 1. Or round 1.
And then obviously Michael already at 8 life. Well and truly susceptible to an attack for 10.
Now, my second round opponent, he was scared. He didn't even show up. I think it was my foreigner shirt. I believe that ran him off. But it was an easy victory. You take those when you can get them.
Yeah, quite.
So these guys are going to move into a third game. We've got about 18 minutes left in the round. I'm going to warn you guys full and well, we're not going to be able to have another match for our F&M streams. We always try to move another match under the feature match camera if one ends early. If Joseph Deal is playing red deck at the time. But we're not going to be able to do that for the pre-release. Obviously, it's much more difficult. We've got a lot of casual players. We've just got a lot more people in the building, so we're not going to bother with that. We'll chit-chat a little bit about the format, but then we're probably going to kick you back to some replays of Standard from last week. We had a pretty good tournament or something like that. So we're going to give you as much content as we can, but once these guys are done, that's just kind of all she wrote. Normally, I'm very conscious of trying to make sure there's magic on the screen as much as possible, but at a pre-release like this, a couple things going against us. Like I said, the number of people, unfamiliar players with the stream. Also, I enjoy hanging out with people I don't get to see a lot. It is nice to stick my head out, do some trades, do some whatever.
Conversing.
So some pretty cool decks here. This is the first, I had seen the Nemesis of Mortals earlier when I was walking around asking some people about their pools. I did not know at the time what it was called, but I also didn't know how much of an impact it would have because I didn't realize how strong this green-black kind of pairing is with milling yourself. You've got the Minotaur that mills. You can target yourself. You've got the whip. He was fortunate enough to open that up.
Yeah,
Imagine how that game would have gone had Michael not disenchanted the whip early.
Oh,
That would have gotten well out of control. Of course, the whip also abuses enter the board effects, stuff like that. So it's
just
pretty.
giving all your creatures lifelink is super relevant.
Yeah.
Put fun games on in between rounds. Yeah, we might do some. We'll just have the guys sit and play test if they want to. Just jam some games like that. You can always audible back to some Legacy or Modern. We've got a bunch of Legacy decks with me today. I broke down, Cliff.
Oh.
I now have a Legacy deck together that has Jaces in it. I have a fair deck. I have a fair deck. So let's see the decks I normally play in Legacy. We've got Show and Tell, every variant.
Yeah.
Currently, Show and Tell variant I have sleeved up is Omniscience. I got a Burn deck, which I loan out to people. A Dredge deck, which I've retired that.
Oh, really?
No, I've taken that apart. I've got the Storm put together currently. So Charbelcher can't go. I took my Dredge deck apart because I'm just no longer going to allow that to be played by me or anyone else. I'm just tired of it. Maverick was my fair deck of choice, but I don't know. Last week, or 2 weeks ago at Legacy, I went a smooth 0-3 with Elves, and just got paired against 3 combo decks, and just decided I'm not. Next in 2 weeks, I'm just not. I can win if I lose, but I'm not going to lose games where I had no prayer. And that has been Legacy Whinging with Zach Evans.
I'm trying to put together Fish, which has a base that's like the creatures can be played in Legacy and stuff, so it's pretty adaptable.
I still have $45 Pox deck.
That deck is good. I think you think it's not, but it's very good.
You have Pox? That's cool. I'd love to see it sometime.
I think Brandon's got it right now. But
Cliff Mark is going to funeral charm some fools. But anyway, guys, we're going to get back here to the game at hand. Michael playing the 2/2 First Strike Bestow creature, but just playing it for its creature cost. And then Joseph following up with some green 2-drop that I don't know what it is. I think it's this card up here. Leaf Crown Dryad. It's a Bestow creature that's a 2/2 with reach. And then Michael comes down with the shock your opponent for as much devotion as you have to red. So he's going to put Joseph down to 16. So a pretty aggressive draw here from Michael. Obviously, the Bestow creatures, you want to cast them for the Bestow cost, but they're so flexible. It's a perfect mana sink. It's like the old Retrace from Keyword, because it lets you use your lands early for lands or late for spells.
Yeah.
It's the same. Flashback's the same way. It's a mana sink. This is the same kind of feel where you play it on curve as a 2/2 with First Strike, but late in the game you can make one of your guys enormous and get the value out of Bestow. If it dies, it comes back as a creature. So it's
totally.
really cool mechanic. I like it when they put things into place that are really going to encourage casual players to keep playing, because. There's nothing worse than drawing all lands at the end of the game, or not drawing enough lands in the early part of the game.
Totally.
So you look at the white promo card. It's basically when it casts a 7/7 flying First Striker for 7, but you can cast it for much cheaper if you want to. So it's a pretty good spot to be in.
The only downside I see is when you go all in on the Bestow and you're casting it for the Bestow cost, and then
You can't get blown out.
Your creature gets completely demolished, and you're sitting there, and you're like, I just lost.
Well, how does that work? If you cast it for Bestow,
If it never comes into play, I'm guessing it has to go to the graveyard because it has no target.
it'd be interesting. I had to check with someone. I had to read it.
That's the way I feel about it. It's kind of like Rancor. To me, I mean, you're casting it as an enchantment onto your creature enchantment aura.
Yeah, it's an aura spell. It only becomes a creature if it's already an
that creature
aura,
dies,
and it does. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, there goes my 9 mana.
And here's a perfect example. Michael cast the 2/2 First Striker as a creature early. He has another copy. He's bestowing that one now. So he's serving in with a pretty sizable First Striking army here. And he's going to get the 2-for-1 out of the Bestow as well. Joseph already down to 8, so this game might be all over but the shouting. He's going to cast the 2/4 Mill Myself Minotaur here. Going to get a Nemesis of Reason. Is it a hero's downfall? No, it's another milling guy. And then another creature, a black creature, the black minotaur that I don't know what it is.
Chat is going crazy about our discussion we just had about Bestow.
Is it?
Read over that.
Okay, so we were wrong. So if you cast it for a bestow cost and you don't have any valid targets, it still comes in as a creature. So in either case, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to sink that much mana in, I guess that if you think about it a little bit critically, I think that they would be hesitant to design a somewhat casual card like that allows you to tap 7 mana and get totally blown out.
Yeah.
So that probably makes a lot of sense. So it looks like we were just wrong on that.
Mark that one down. First time ever.
First time ever in this 10-minute block of the But to be fair, I did preface this entire round by saying I've never once claimed to be good. But that is one of those, it is a particularly sticky rules interaction. It is also cards that have only been available for sale for the last 12 hours.
Yes.
So,
Not even
We're learning this together.
the green creature at the bottom of Joseph's side, a question in the chat, that is the 3/7, I don't know, I don't even think it does anything, it's 3/7 vanilla. It's the Ferris Band Centaurs, it's just a 3/7 for 5. What that is the 23rd card in your deck. That is, I needed a playable. So Michael's serving in here with the bestowed first striker. We've got tricks. Well, we've just got damage resolves, lightning strike to finish it off. Is that what it's called? Lightning strike, the new Searing Sphere.
I believe it is. Yes.
Lightning strike and spark jolt.
Spark jolt. Yeah.
I feel like I'm like Egg McMahon on the Nacho. Yes.
I love it when we make a modest rules mistake, because regardless if it's a pre-release, IQ, weekly F&M, whatever it is, chat explodes. They hate us.
You are wrong.
Michael following it up with a Satyr Rambler on his side, as we see a Nemesis come down for Joseph. Will not be monstrous this game. The 2/1 Trampler on Michael's side, not ideal on about turn 1,000, but you'll take a dude when you can get one.
And I know a thing or two about the rules. I'm the guy who played the Psychonic Rift in his own restaurant.
Oh Lord, it was the worst. It was the worst day of my life. I got so
amazing.
I got so upset.
That was such a good play, though.
So we've got tricks here. Michael's serving in with his bestowed first striker. Joseph going to block with the Nemesis. Didn't use a combat trick, and I don't know what that is. And then we're going to trick back, and I'm going to just get completely blown out on my coverage here by not knowing what all these tricks are. Oh, I know what that one is. That's the whip that's going to give it -4/-4. So at the end of the day, Joseph's guy's still going to die. What was that card he cast?
No clue.
Was it the Boon Satyr? Could it have been Boon Satyr? I know that's Flash, right? Savage Surge.
Could have something else. I believe that's the -3/-3 guy. When it dies.
No, I don't think that one is. Somehow Joseph gained life, so. I need to have played a Midnight pre-release before I did that. That's the Grey Merchant we saw in the first game. It drains life, and you gain life. It's a drain life equal to your devotion to black, which at this point was good for 1, 2, 3, it looked like. So Joseph putting up a fight here. He's got, he's ground up the, he's clogged up the ground at least considerably to keep Michael from running amok. So the Fanatic attacks in. It's a 6/4 first striker thanks to the Bestow creature.
jump out and I'll go work on my deck.
All right, man. Well, good luck to you in the rest of the tournament. Thanks for stepping in.
Jukebox hero.
All right. So Joseph lining up blocks here, trying to figure out if he has a profitable spot here. He's got 2/2/4 creatures. He can't afford to really block here. He can chump, but he's not going to be able to block effectively because of the first strike. So he's just going to take it, go down to 5, and there is Ember Swallower. So Michael in a very good spot here. Joseph miracles the swamp. So he has 6 mana available. He has effective vanilla creatures on board. He is not dead on board. He will drop down to 1 if he chumps out... well, he'll drop down to 3, I should say, if he chumps out everything. Well, guys, thanks for watching all the way down in Perth, Australia. We've enjoyed it. We do know that it's about, what is that, 12 hours difference, so it's 2 in the morning there. So thanks for checking us out. We hope to see you next time we do one of these events on Saturday. So Joseph adds the whip, but he can't activate it. And then, is that a Traveler's Amulet on the end?
Yes.
So he's effectively staved off death here, but he is still susceptible to any kind of burn or tricks or bestow shenanigans. Where's that amulet? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is Traveler's Amulet. So Joseph's got a lot of business in his bin. He's already milled with the Minotaur. Some creatures have died in combat. There is the flying equipment. He's going to put it on his 6-power first striker. Joseph is going to show him that he has another guy that he can't cast. He's going to try to block. He's going to scoop him up very, very slowly. So congratulations to Michael Taylor. He moves to 2-0 in today's Theros Prerelease with his not necessarily super aggressive, but very solid mid-range Rakdos deck. Getting a lot of work out of his first strike bestow guys. The promo Ember Swallower. I should figure out what the name is of that first strike bestow guy. I've said that exact phrase about 1,000 times so far.